So I'm working through something in my head, and I decided to work through it on camera. I know I look a little crazy, but it's a hot summer day. It is what it is. So I was thinking about a little bit of childhood trauma and how, like, bullying in your formative years can just really impact your self-image for so many years to come, and then, like, healing past that as an adult, and getting to relive those memories as your adult healed self, right? And so I had an experience when I was younger where there was someone who I would be around, like, fairly often, who was around my age, and this person had the habit of being just, like, really mean and nasty, at least from my perception. And I know, like, my memory may deceive me, but from my perception of it, it's like everything I did, she had a problem with it. Like, she was the biggest hater, and it was, like, so toxic that eventually, as I got older, I basically set a hard boundary with my own, like, I set a hard boundary that I didn't want anything to do with this person, and I didn't want to be around this person. And even looking back now, I'm actually very proud of myself for doing that, because I was young, I was a dependent, I only had so much control over my life. And even then, I was like, hell no, like, this person is toxic, this person's always bringing me down, I never feel good when I'm with this person. It's honestly a very chaotic experience, and I refuse to be around them. And I even got pushback, like, oh, you're bougie, oh, you don't want to be around people, you don't like this, you don't like that. And I was just like, yep. I just, like, fully let that become my identity. Yep, I'm bougie. Yep, I don't like people. Yep, I'm antisocial. Yep, like, whatever came along with that. All I knew personally is that this person was always mean and nasty. I never felt good around them, and I didn't want to be around them anymore. And so I made that a hard limit. They were not invited to birthday parties. They were not allowed to be around me, period. I totally excommunicated them. As, like, a little girl, like, I was probably, like, I remember one time specifically, I was hanging out, me growing up, I probably can't post this, because this is going to be TMI, but anyways, like, growing up, I felt like I had, like, two lives, right? Because my family is from Detroit, and I'm from Detroit also, but we moved to the suburbs. So I had my suburban life during the week, and then usually on the weekends, we would go to my grandma's house in Detroit. So then I had my Detroit life on the weekends, and I had to develop, like, a split personality, because it required two very different versions of me to thrive in both of those areas, and they were very, very different, right? Okay, so one time, someone from my Detroit life happened to be coming with me into my suburban life, and I was just like, okay, no problem. So I'm, doing my best in that situation, which is hard, because I'm normally used to having this, like, split personality, and now I have to do both. And obviously one or both parties are going to think that I'm acting weird because I'm trying to please both parties. And this is how, like, my little mind developed. Mind you, I think I'm in 4th grade at this point. And so anyway, so I'm, like, trying to figure out how to balance the two. And then the person from my Detroit life was, like, cussing, was being so just, like, absolutely untamed and embarrassing me. I was like, this is absolutely unacceptable. And that's the same person who I'm talking about, who was always mean and nasty. And that's when I decided, like, nope, absolutely not. This person has no home training, and they cannot come around me. They cannot come around me. They're going to talk about me in front of people who I'm trying to build relationships. They're going to continuously bring me down. They're honestly not even capable of code switching or having the split personalities like me. Like, hello, like, you can't just act this way in front of everybody. So I was like, okay, I'm better than you. You can't come. And that was literally the thought process. Like, no, like, this isn't going to work. And that's when I decided, and that's when I got really strict in my boundaries. Like, this person cannot come around me. She's bad news. So anyways, like, moving forward, I got away from that person by setting those boundaries. But that negative talk, even after I physically got away from the person, all those things that she would say to me and she would, like, reinforce in me, they stayed in my head. And then it turned into negative self-talk. So it was like, even though the suffering was over, I began to inflict the suffering on myself, and I began to question myself and doubt myself and speak negativity over myself. And like, it just got really toxic. And honestly, that went on for a long time, like probably longer than the suffering did. Isn't that freaking crazy? And I think that we all have that experience. It's like, literally, sometimes like something happens to you, like something really bad and traumatic, and technically it only lasts like 30 minutes or less. Like, imagine like a, SA. Sometimes it goes on for years, but sometimes it's literally one incident, like literally one. And the effects you keep re-traumatizing yourself for years and years and years, like way longer than the actual experience. So that's what I was doing to myself. And all of those things that she had like drilled into my mind, like she used to say, like, I couldn't talk, and she would always make fun of how I speak, especially like with the code switching. Like, I didn't always know like how to talk, like ebonics or whatever. Like, I didn't know like the cool hood lingo because I didn't go to school there, and like it just wasn't my thing. But honestly, like, I felt like, sometimes because I try to communicate the way that people are communicating, because I try to, like, the whole point is for me to, be on that person's level so that we can have a good understanding of each other. And I feel like I had a good accent in both scenes, but every time I say something, she would make fun of it. No. Or like, and when I would go to Detroit, the kids would cuss a lot more, obviously, than get the kids in the suburbs. And so I had to try to learn how to cuss, but I wasn't like super familiar with it. And she would always make fun of, like, anything I say, she'd make fun of it. So then, and I had a speech impediment growing up already that I had to go to speech therapy for. So like, I was very, very self-conscious about my speech for like a super long time. I thought people weren't going to accept me. I thought people weren't going to like me. Like, any outfit I wore, she was going to make fun of it. She'd always do my hair before we went places because she said my hair didn't look good, like the way that I did it. And like, literally everything I do, it was going to be a criticism, it was going to be a problem, and it was going to be something that she had to, like, quote unquote fix. And it was just like absolutely ridiculous. She said I couldn't dance, which is literally crazy. She used to always say that I couldn't dance and she was a better dancer than me. So then I felt self-conscious about dancing. And honestly, still to this day, I've been on dance teams. I cheered my whole life growing up. I danced many styles. I danced salsa, I danced kizomba, I danced bachata, I've done Zumba. I dance many different dances. I've done heels classes, literally so many. Like, dance is a big part of my life. And even now to this day, like, when I start dancing, I feel this insecurity come up in me, like I can't dance, even after all of the training I've been doing to dance. And like, that is how much her influence impacted me. Like, I'm 25 years old now, and this is when I was like 10 and younger. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And anyway, so I say all this to say, I forgive that person. Like, yes, it's been a lot of suffering that I had to endure and overcome from this person being in my life. And I definitely don't interact with them anymore. I don't have literally any feelings toward this person, and this person is still, like, quote unquote, not like in my life, but like, I know of them. So other people who are in my life will like be talking about them, and I just check out because I literally couldn't care less. Like, I do not care about this person. Like, she's dead to me. She's literally dead to me. Like, I don't care. But at the same time, like, I still love her as a human being, and I forgive her fully because I know now. At the time, I thought she just like was hating on me, but I know now that the way you talk to other people is the way that you talk to yourself. And there's no way that she could be that mean and nasty to me and be nice to herself. And so I really feel sorry for her, because that's so sad. It's so sad.